What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back for another review of Tyler Perry's Sistas. This is season 6, episode 18, and the episode is titled From the Blind Side. Let's get right into this review, y'all. So, Jordan has basically introduced Andy to Gary, but Gary is like, "Oh, nice to meet you," and Andy's like, "Gary, you know me." But baby, he is putting on airs, and he's like, "Nah, we ain't never met. But let me go ahead and slide on up out of here." Now, Gary is trying to get up out of here, y'all. But here's the kicker. Oh boy, Jordan, he keeps talking about but my sister's on the way, and we need to hang out and all of this stuff. And I'm just like, wait a second. What does Gary have to do with Jordan's sister? That's a little weird that you keep bringing her up. Let me find out Gary got somebody else. Now, y'all, we have to talk about Andy because Andy's face, okay, when Gary's out here playing like he don't know her, it is giving egg on the face because we all know that they are very, very familiar with each other. Now, over at the table, Sabrina, she catches that Gary is there, and she leans over to Danny like, "Hey, yo, why is Gary here? Like, of all people to be here, why is Gary here?" And the guys are like, "Oh, you guys know Gary?" And they're like, "Yeah, from around the way." So Danny, she decides to make her way around that table and around that chair so that way she can get to the bottom of this, okay? And of course, Sabrina, she follows her. So Danny walks up and she's like, "What's going on over here?" Because she wants to know why Gary is there. And Gary, of course, he's trying to get out of there, talking about "Oh, I'm about to leave." And she's like, "Well, how do you know Jordan?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't want to bore you guys with that story. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here." And what was weird to me was that Jordan just kind of stood there looking stupid. And I'm just like, "Well, you can further explain how you know Gary." But nonetheless, Gary puts up the church finger and he decides to skedaddle, right? Now, Jordan follows him, and the ladies hijack the house so that way they can have a conversation about what is going on. Because it's very strange that Gary, number one, did not mention that he had been in a relationship with Andy in the past. But on top of that, where he trying to skedaddle off to? All of this is very fishy. So y'all already knew who was about to get the mess started. Of course, it was Daniela. She swung that door open so fast and was like, "Gary, come on in this house so we can have a conversation, okay?" Because she wants to get to the bottom of why this man is acting all weird. So, next thing you know, when he goes into the house, the other guys follow with the trays of food and they sat it on that ugly ass table. I'm sorry, y'all. That table, it was messing with my trypophobia. I'm like, what is going on? Get that table out of here. But nonetheless, okay, I'm just like, I thought y'all was gonna have a nice little barbecue outside. Oh no, we're bringing the party inside. Now, y'all, these men have this random hee hee ha ha moment about Gary being a wingman for Jordan. And I'm just like, so wait a second. Gary has friends outside of Hayden? That's strange because we don't see him do anything but follow behind Andy and plot and scheme with Hayden. This is like a whole nother side of this man. But baby, let me tell you something. Gary is trying to slide his way on out the door, okay? He talking about he gotta make a phone call, right? All right, fine. Go make your little phone call. But then here comes somebody at the front door. Oh, who is it? Penelope. Who is Penelope, you might ask? Oh, that's Jordan's sister and her pregnant belly, okay? So she's like, "Oh yeah, we're expecting our first baby, whoop-de-woo-woo." And Andy's like, "Well, girl, who is we?" Because the whole time that she's there, she's like, "Where's Gary? Where's Gary?" So we already knew she had a connection with Gary. Oh, baby. Andy is finding out that this is Gary's baby. But I'm, y'all, when did Gary have time? When did Gary have time to do all of this and be an Andy face? I'm so confused. Because baby girl is big and pregnant, okay? She has a real pregnancy belly, unlike Karen. So I'm just like, did you get baby girl pregnant before you gave Andy the keys to her apartment? Like, how long ago did this happen? Oh, baby. And the cherry on top of all of this is that not only is this girl pregnant by Gary, but she's also his fiance. Oh, baby, they've been together for 3 years. 3 years? Y'all, I don't even think Gary and Andy have been together for 3 years when it comes to the Tyler Perry timeline. Like, what in the world? Where'd she come from? Why wasn't the ex wife harassing her? Like, I'm trying to understand what's going on here. Now, keep in mind, you guys, all of this is new information to Andy. So, baby girl is like in a state of shock and she's very stoic right now, okay? But, Gary comes back inside. Him and baby girl out here giving each other Eskimo kisses because he wants to leave and she clearly does not. And she's going on about how, oh, he's always busy working and he's always traveling. I said, traveling? Gary ain't left Atlanta not a one time, baby girl. He is playing you. Every time he say he left Atlanta, he was probably in that penthouse that he bought Andy. So baby girl gets it in her mind that, oh my gosh, all the ladies should have a chit chat because she wants to get to know Andy a little bit more. Now, of course, she's coming from the perspective of, I want to get to know the woman who has my brother simping over here. But little does she know, Andy and Gary have such a strong, very, very strong history, okay? So before the ladies head over to talk to Penelope, they have a little huddle meeting, and y'all already know Andy said her infamous line, I don't like this. Y'all, I hate when Andy says that line. I feel like for some reason, Tyler has written it that she says it as well as Sabrina. They both say that line and it gets on my goddamn nerves. But nonetheless, we have two different vibes going right now. You have Sabrina and Andy. They're like, no, we don't want to, bring any negativity to the situation because at the end of the day, baby girl is pregnant. We don't want her, feeling no type of way about Gary. However, Daniela, on the other hand, she's like, no, this is the perfect time for us to let her know how trifling Gary is. So Andy and Sabrina, they're like, no, we just gonna leave. That was not in Daniela's cards, and she walked right on over there to talk to baby girl. Now, y'all, we gonna leave that scene. I guess we gonna revisit it later. But why, oh why, does Karen get a knock at the door of her apartment and it's Jason Weaver? Or should I say, I think his name is Brian. Yeah, I think his character's name is Brian. Excuse me, sir. The business hours are from what? 9 to 5. Why are you at this woman's house? So this man, he finally give her this little sheet of paper that supposedly have the numbers of how much everything is going to cost. Now, Karen is like, yo, this is still expensive. But he's like, these are the best numbers in town. You can call around and see if you can get a better deal, but this is the best you gonna get, right? Now, here's my thing. You couldn't just send this in an email, sir? Why are you at her house? But since he's here, Karen does tell him that she does not have insurance. However, she does have the money to pay for everything or whatever, or she can get the money. And she has a good feeling about him, so she trusts him. Yeah, you can trust him all you want to, but I'm trying to figure out why the hell is Jason Weaver sweating like this? Okay? Y'all, it was bothering me because the longer that this scene ran, the more sweat was dripping down his damn face. Now, I don't know if it was because of the makeup that they had on him or what, because he'll be sweating like this when I watch The Shine. But baby, he is dripping wet with sweat all up in this scene. Now, he does say that this may take, I think he said 5 months for this whole project to get done. And of course, that's definitely a lot of time, but like, girl, your whole place burned down. I can understand why it's going to take 5 months. On top of that, because he's an ear hustler, and I promise y'all, Tyler loves to make every man an ear hustler on these damn shows, but he overheard Pam talking, so now he knows that, what's her name? Karen is like a single mother. And I'm like, can we even call her a single mother yet? Because the baby's not here. However, he does say that he can offer her some tips on how to raise a baby, I guess, because y'all know he got 7. Now, y'all, this man sat up here and offered her basically any type of baby items, before she goes shopping because they still have a bunch of the baby stuff from these 7 kids that he got, right? And I'm like, don't you worry, sweetheart, because the same way she was spending money on Zach's child, I'm hoping that she's going to spend money on her own, okay? Why is her child getting hand-me-downs while Zach's child is getting all the new stuff, okay? I don't think that's cool. So next thing you know, old boy leaves and Karen ends up calling Pam, telling her to go to the beauty supply for her, so that way she can get some hair supplies or whatever. It seems like she's going to start working out of her house. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Let's go ahead and move on. All right, y'all. So now we see Calvin and Maurice. They're at their apartment. And Maurice says that he wants to go out, okay? He wants to go to the gay club. He wants to have a good time. Of course, Calvin, he's down to go to the gay club with him because that's one of his favorite pastimes as well. And honestly, you guys, I'm kind of glad that Maurice is going back to the club because I missed that part of Maurice. So hopefully we can get that back. Nonetheless, here's my problem. Calvin is like, oh, why don't you go out and meet a nice guy? Or how about you try to date a nice guy? And I'm like, didn't y'all just have this conversation the last time y'all were at the apartment about him constantly choosing the wrong person? Why are we reiterating the conversation? But nonetheless, they are going to go out and Calvin is going to find Maurice a nice guy. Moving on. All right, y'all, can we have an honest conversation? Am I the only one who's tired of Zach and Fatima's storyline right now? Like, I feel like we are stretching this out. Like, we really are. Like, I'm so tired of them sitting in the car and having conversations about Michael at this point. Like, listen, the man said that y'all gotta wait for this hearing. Just wait for the hearing. But no, they go over there and they get out the car because now they just want to check on Michael. And here comes this nosy neighbor, aka Miss, oh, I'm calling CPS, I'm calling DCFS, and I ain't called nobody. But according to this lady, Heather ain't there. And the baby ain't there either because they ain't been there all day. Maybe the child is in the hospital, maybe not, who knows. All I got from this is that baby girl is hella nosy, and something that Zach did scared off all these men that be coming around. Sis, it's been a day. It's only been one day since that whole fiasco happened. You acting like a full week went by and these men ain't coming by no more. Cut it out. Hell, and it wasn't even nothing that Zach did, it's what Fatima did. Now, y'all, this is where things went left for me because Fatima is like, oh, yeah, you have my number. Just let me know. If you do see them, give me a call. All right, fine. Here comes Zachary Taylor with a stack of money, giving it to this lady. And I'm just like, what is this stack of money for? Like, what is happening right now? Like, is this ransom money for your child? I'm not understanding. But sister girl here, she wasn't having it. She's like, I don't need your money or your fancy car. You need to get up out of here. Now, Zach and Fatima, they are apologizing left and right. And then baby girl is like, all right, you both apologize. You can break me off a little bit of that money. Girl, goodbye. Goodbye. So now they're going to head off to the next hospital, I guess the county hospital, because of course Heather doesn't have insurance on her child. Y'all, let's just move on. So next we see Karen have a conversation with Pam where she basically tells her that she has the numbers and the price ain't even too expensive or whatever to get the shop done. However, it is going to take 5 months. Now, her bright idea is to do hair out of her shop, not out of her shop, do hair out of her home, be a kitchen beautician. But Pam, she can basically work for her part time. So Pam is down for the part-time work, and you already know she's riding with Karen till the wheels fall off. One thing I will say is that I do like Karen and Pam's relationship. It does seem like it's getting a little bit better. Sometimes I just wish that Karen would talk to Pam a little bit better, but I digress. because the rest of this conversation was basically them figuring out who they can get to help them move some furniture around in Karen's salon, or should I say in her house, so that way she can have this makeshift salon. And also, Pam, she decided to suggest that maybe Karen should reach out to Zach or Aaron, but she shut that down real quick. Y'all, so then we decide, oh, let's jump back over to Zach and Fatima, right? Now, they are now outside of the hospital because guess what? Michael ain't there. And I'm like, you know what? That's what y'all get for listening to that lady, okay? It's bad enough that lady is not dependable because she says she been calling all these people and ain't called nobody on Heather, and she giving y'all the runaround. But nonetheless, at this point, I really didn't want them to just call Heather and be like, "Hey, girl, what's going on with Michael? Can we talk to him on the phone or something?" Because y'all just driving around the city wasting gas. It makes no sense, and y'all doing all of this for nothing. So then, Fatima, she says, "Yeah, cause like we don't even know his last name." Excuse me? What do you mean you don't know his last name? If anything, when Heather filed those papers initially on Zach, it should have listed the child's name so that way he can get child support. How in the world are y'all doing all of this paperwork, having people sign this, sign that, and you don't even know this child's last name? Tyler, what is going on in your universe? Nonetheless, then we have Zach. He having a whole woe it's me moment about this one night stand that he had with Heather and how, he is on a mission to find his child. Y'all, I'm sorry, but again, I don't even feel bad for Zach at this point. Because how many times are you going to have a woe is me moment? Oh my gosh, I can't believe that this is how Heather is, and now I have to deal with the consequences. Then he had the audacity to say, oh, because, now we have to live with the child at the beginning of our relationship. Sir, you are acting like your child is a burden at this point, and I want you to stop. And then on top of that, you still have yet to make any room in your home for this child. You still are living in this one bedroom condo that you decided to build out. Yeah, that was your bright idea. Okay? So when are you going to go to the house and go childproof the house? That's what you could be doing right now. Instead of you driving around town trying to find this child, even though you can't do anything with him if you do find Michael, because you don't have legal custody of him, maybe you should go childproof that house. Maybe you should go figure out how you can put a bed in your house somewhere for this little boy to get a good night's sleep when he does come to your home. Please make it make sense. Like, I am just so sick of this whole Zach and Fatima are on the hunt for Michael because Heather is such a bad mother. Like, at this point, we're dragging it. We really are. Like, I'm trying to figure out, do you even have food in your refrigerator for this kid? Like, is your home safe enough for him to come live there, Zach? Because at the end of the day, you already know that you have to go to this court hearing in the morning. Go get some sleep. But then, y'all, we have Fatima. She's telling a whole story about her having to deal with a teenage pregnancy that she had with a neighborhood boy. And then come to find out she had a miscarriage. Y'all, I thought that this was going to be the perfect time for her to tell him about the situation with her and Ian and her getting an abortion. That's not what we got. And honestly, as she was telling that story, I could have swore that I heard somebody else tell that story before, but it was not Fatima. Can't remember who it was or what it was, but the story sounded very familiar. Either way, I just felt like this was not the time for that story, that Tyler just pulled out of nowhere. I thought that this was the perfect time for Fatima to tell Zach about the abortion. Like, it would have made so much sense, but nope, we got a whole different story. Y'all, at the end of this scene, they finally decide that they just gonna go home and see what happens in court the next day. And I'm like, yeah, y'all could have stayed at the house to begin with. Moving on. Y'all, we jump back over to Jordan's house. And the girls are, asking Penelope how she met Gary and all this stuff. And she's like, oh, yeah, we met on a blind date. And they have been engaged since she's been pregnant. Baby girl looks like she's about 7 months pregnant, though. So I'm just like, that sounds like about the same amount of time he been messing with Andy. How long has he been with Andy, y'all? How much time has passed in the Tyler Perry universe? I'm just curious to know. Nonetheless, Gary, he is made of money, okay? I don't know how much money Gary got, but he got a whole lot, okay? Because not only did he purchase this woman a car, but he also got her an apartment as well. Very similar to Andy, right? Penelope, she goes on a whole rant about people driving expensive cars and all this stuff. But I'm just like, girl, if only you knew the amount of money that Gary has spent on Andy. Because baby girl is driving a what? A Rolls Royce. That ain't cheap. Now, here's my question, y'all. What kind of car did Gary got? Like, what is Gary driving? Because with old girl talking about how, she doesn't like expensive cars and all of that stuff, I'm like, I know Gary ain't driving a Honda. So what did he drive? I'm just curious. But nonetheless, Penny, she is going on and on about how her brother likes Andy. Y'all, I'm sorry, but Jordan is such a lame to me at this point. I am not here for it. Because he done told everybody and his mama how he feel about Andy, except for Andy. It's only been what, y'all? One day. It has literally been one day. And Jordan has had time to call all his friends and stress them out about how much he like Andy. He done ran his mouth to his sister about how much he like Andy. And I'm just like, again, it's been one day. I need for y'all to relax. Okay? Nonetheless, Penny is talking about her brother. He's just so faithful in relationships. And I'm just like, you sure, sis? Are you sure? Like, are you just saying that? Or do you know for a fact? That's weird. Nonetheless, she goes further to say how she can't be with a man who ain't faithful. Well, girl, you are in for a ride because you really don't know Gary. So now the guys, they come over to the couch where the ladies are sitting, and Gary, first of all, he's being super standoffish. He stayed away at first, and all the girls are like, oh no, Gary, come over here. So they basically let Gary know, like, yep, we know the timeline of your relationship with this girl. And don't worry, we've even seen the dress that she plans on wearing. I guess to the wedding. Okay, I'm not really sure about that part because it was like she showed them a photo of her dress. I can't recall if it was for the wedding or if it was what she was going to wear for the maternity shoot. Either way, the girls were letting this man know, like, sir, we know a whole lot of information right about now, and we can blow up your spot, okay? Now, out of nowhere, and I mean literally nowhere, here come Tony. He asking Danny to dance. Negro, what music is playing? Why do you want to dance in the middle of somebody's living room and there ain't no music playing? What is going on? And then this became what? Middle school all over again because now all the guys are asking the ladies to dance. But oh, here goes Jordan. He doesn't know how to dance. Again, Jordan is a lame. So Andy, she got to show him how to two-step real quick. And Gary is staring at them the whole time. So next thing you know, these ridiculous, doofy guys smell something burning. Oh my gosh, the food. We burned the food. I'm just like, what food is still getting cooked? Because y'all literally took a bunch of plates of food into the house. I'm confused. Get these people off my screen. I am so tired of the Three Stooges plus Gary at this point. I'm so sick of them. But nonetheless, everybody goes out to see what's going on with this burning food, right? Andy, she's like, perfect. This is our escape plan. Let's get up out of this house, right? Danielle, however, oh Daniela, she does not want to leave because she feels like it's not fair that Gary is doing this to two black women. However, you have Andy and Sabrina, they like, no, we are totally against this because at the end of the day, Penelope is pregnant. You know, why should we be the ones that have to bring all this bullshit to this girl who clearly has no idea who Gary is? Oh, don't worry. Daniela is adamant about blowing up Gary's spot. And Penelope, she overhears what the conversation is, and that is where the episode ends. Now, do I feel like they should blow up the spot or not? Ooh, that's a good question. I honestly feel like because this girl is so far along in her pregnancy, I probably wouldn't, make a big scene about all of this. However, I would probably figure out a way to reach out to her after she dropped that baby and be like, well, sis, here's the truth about your baby daddy. You know what I'm saying? Just wanted you to drop that load real quick, get your mind right. But this is Gary. This is the real Gary. Just saying. But y'all, let me know what y'all would do. Would y'all actually blow up the spot or what? Are y'all Team Danny or Team Andy on this? Let me know in the comment section. Let's talk about this episode because this was definitely one of the better episodes this season. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.